Baki Rahen Chapter 15, called Exchange of Bites. In the underground arena, they want to see not human sweat, but the blood of fighters. And from the first page to where we continue off Jack's previous bites from the last chapter on Kosho's own arm, where some text at the bottom says, "A fight brought to an end." Looks like apparently the fight will end this chapter. And again, he tore it. Jack biting part of Kosho's arm. And you could see it's very lethal because of the huge spray of blood that's gushing from Kosho's arm as of now. I like the effect that the blood has as it circles around Kosho and Jack's in the background, moving after he bit the arm. The blood just swaying around him and Kosho towards Jack's mouth. That's because that's where it came from. That's where the attack came from. It's just a very interesting and cool effect of blood spray. I like it. The carotid artery is still bleeding, and he bit off the upper arm. A few surprise reactions from Baki, Shibukawa, Katsumi, all the fighters here on the left, literally gawking at Kosho's gushing arm. So right about now, Kosho's bleeding from 3 places on his body: his shoulder, his neck, and now his arm. It seriously is not looking good for Kosho. But I'm just surprised on how he's still standing from like the first page. The fact that he's managed to stand after what happened in the last chapter, it's actually astonishing. Kosho's endurance and like perseverance is like nothing to scoff at. It's not just his durability. His durability is not really the main, like the golden point or the main reason he's standing. It's mostly his endurance. He was able to endure a lot of pain from Jack in this fight, as well as dish out some good damage himself. He did pretty alright. A bitten arm, Doppo says, and Katsumi continues it with an explanation. The arteries have 2 places which destruction is deadly. In the techniques centered around combat, they are not taken so seriously. So as we can see from this diagram of your average human body, Katsumi's talking about how 2 areas where the arteries are like most vulnerable are the arms and around the leg area as well. The explanation continues saying, a fight where a knife is involved. Joints of limbs are important targets for attack. Large blood vessels are located here, the key to death or injuries. And as we just talked about, Kosho was bitten in his left arm, right about that position where Jack's bite landed. So it very much was a vital blow that could, like it says in this explanation, a key to death or an injury. Or not just an injury, a very big one. After that, Jack places his hand on his face as in to touch his eyes and to recollect on how his vision is looking right now. And as he looks up onto the roof of the underground arena, he sees nothing but darkness. As to what we have here, we have a completely blind Jack Hanma and an extremely injured Kosho Shinogi that is bleeding out a lot. And Tokugawa is just watching on, waiting for the outcome of the fight, patiently waiting. When boom, Kosho falls to the floor after all the bites. Huh? He collapsed. Everyone is shocked. Baki already knows the fight is over, and by the look on his face, he's very displeased on how Jack handled that fight. And Tokugawa raises his hand up to declare Jack the victor. And with a bird's eye view of the underground arena, we have a winner. The outcome of the battle is determined. The giant beast Jack won. Shinogi Kosho cannot even move. The underground arena medical team rush out to help the bleeding cord cutter in his time of need. Medics hurry to help. There is massive blood loss, as expected. And as the medics coordinate themselves to help the fallen Kosho Shinogi, Tokugawa walks up to Jack and says, "Your martial arts is excellent." And I can tell from Jack's face and the fact that he gave no response to that is that the praise wasn't really needed for him. He was probably just thinking, okay, that needed to be done. I just did what I needed to do. That's probably what Jack was thinking. While blinded, Jack holds his hand to his eyes again. Maybe he's having an attempt of trying to see if he can have his vision back by prodding at his eyes. But Kosho says, "Mr. Jack." Jack turns his attention to Kosho. So does Tokugawa. "Your vision will return, but you will have to be blind for a week." And the way he's squinting his eyes, playful malice, or playful revenge, because Kosho knows how long Jack would be blind for. He even gives out the exact time frame, a week. It's like he's saying, okay, since I lost to you, Jack, you're not getting scot-free out of this. You're gonna be at least blind for a week, even though I took this loss. Classic Kosho Shinogi. And from Tokugawa and Jack hearing this, Kosho stretches out his hand, his bloody hand, and grabs Jack's hand. It's literally in conjunction to when Jack was grabbing Kosho's left hand and they were explaining friendship and all that. And even when Jack bit him, it was explained on how their hands were grasped like it was an eternal friendship. And here we are again. Their hands are grasped together, hold together again. But this time it's Kosho initiating it. That's really nice. Jack surprised. God. It can't compare with anything. The best in history. Martial arts. This right here is Kosho giving credit to Jack's religious belief in Christianity, stating that Jack is powerful because he's with God, that his belief in God, that God itself, the concept of God, it can't compare with anything. And Jack here is still kinda confused after hearing all that. But next Kosho says, "Jack, oh, what? Near, even closer." Jack goes down to hear what Kosho has to say. Out of nowhere, he bites Jack's ear. Jack rushes away as a reaction to get away from Kosho. What happened? A bite? But right here, it doesn't look like Jack has been damaged by that bite at all. Although what I could gather from this page is this. Kosho says, "I just bit you lightly and you screamed." Upon hearing that, it was actually very funny because Kosho, after getting bit 3 times from Jack, Kosho didn't say a word, no scream, no yell. It was just a shocked impression. It was just a shocked expression. But Jack, after getting bit lightly on his ear, apparently right at this scene he was screaming and moved away from Kosho. So it looks like even though Jack bites people, he can't handle when he gets bit, apparently. And Kosho just exposed this. And as Jack hears this truth, it's as if he's embarrassed by it, but he also accepts it, which too lights up with joy. So dark, bright. What a magnificent end to a fight. I really enjoyed that ending. The strong is the beautiful.